Hi, I'm Chuck Wooden, and I'm also joined by my co-host, Monique Melanson-Hunter, and you're watching the Veterans Corner.
Thank you, Chuck. If you haven't seen the Veterans Corner before, it's a show dedicated to our veterans, their families, and those in our community that support veterans.
Thank you, Monique. We've got a special guest here today, 3 of them. Skydiving for veterans, or Skydive for veterans. And actually, I personally have heard of you guys in the past. I think it was through Dan Marcotte, and actually on Facebook. I think you guys are on Facebook.
Yes, we are.
And you know, we've had so many guests on this show, and it's difficult to get everybody on at once. But we're really happy, really glad that you're here. It's going to be an interesting show for those that like to jump out of planes. It's going to be an interesting show, but it's great to have you here. It really is. And to my right, we have Bruce Fagan. Bruce, thanks for being here. Ron Wickham and Tim Ryan. Guys, once again, veterans, obviously veterans.
Nope.
No? Okay.
This is our one veteran here, and James is our other veteran.
Then I opened my mouth before I should.
That's all right. Tell us about your service, please.
I served 71 to 74, tail end of Vietnam, and luck of the draw, I was stationed in Germany, playing cat and mouse with the Russians. We were in our tanks on one side, and they were in theirs on the other, and who was going to flinch first? So
you know, that seemed to have been a game that was just continuously played. Me being in the Navy, you know, in the Med, I mean, we were constantly doing that back and forth with the ships. Right. So that's a lot of the viewers don't understand it. That's just something that's a normal day. But thank you for your service on behalf of the Veterans Corner, the viewers, the crew here. Thank you very much, and thank you guys for everything you do for veterans. That's equally as important, and you know, we honor you. Just, I mean, it's a great thing that you do.
Well, thank you.
Let's jump into it because we've got a lot to talk about.
Okay, so. Bruce, can you give the viewers some background history and what the mission is for Skydive for veterans?
Sure. You know, before we started today, you asked me why jump out of perfectly good airplanes. And our answer to that is our veterans and our service members put their life on the line every day for us. Once a year, we do it for them. And this all started in Long Island. An organization called Reckless for Red. There was a gentleman who was a Korean War paratrooper, and one day his granddaughter, who happened to be a social worker that works with our veteran population, came home and said, "Grandpa, I jumped out of an airplane." And grandfather said, "You know, I'd really love to do that again one more time." Yeah. On his 75th birthday, granddaughter and grandfather jumped together, and because of the work she does with the Veterans Health Alliance in Long Island, she thought, what a great way to bring awareness to the plight of our veterans. We're going to turn this into an annual event. And unfortunately, about 4 years ago, they lost their jump center on Long Island. And so Tim and I and Ron said, you know, this work's too important to let it fall by the wayside. Yeah. And we contacted the folks at Ellington at Connecticut Parachute Inc. And fortunately for me, when I went up to contact those folks, the jump master was a two-tour in Vietnam veteran himself, and he said, "Hell yeah." And here we are.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I was joking around about jumping out of planes beforehand, but you know, since you put it that way, I mean, there's a lot of meaning to this. An awful lot. I mean, look at one of our presidents. I mean, he was skydiving until, what, 90? 90. He was tandem, but still jumping out of a plane. There's a lot that goes behind the scenes that bring the importance of this, of, you know, what you guys do. It's touching. So. Ron, what is the date and time and location of the jump day? I mean, it's an annual event.
Correct. Yep, it's at the Ellington Airport, at Connecticut Parachutists facility there, and it's September 7th. People should start arriving around 9 o'clock. and we jump throughout the whole day. It's all subject to weather, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's an all-day event. We serve food, have fun, we have music. People bring tents for more information. House of Heroes and Work Vessels for Veterans will have people there to talk to. PLR is going to have a tent there this year, so yeah, there'll be a lot of people there. We have approximately 40 jumpers, possibly 50, so it's going to be quite a day.
Where can people find out more about, let's say a veteran is watching this and they're interested in jumping that day? Where do they go to find out more information, and how do they sign up?
Our website is skydiveforveterans.org. You can register on the site, and you can also donate on the site.
That's great.
Now, we'll go back to the actual day of the event, tents. I would just had a
Epiphany.
thought, yeah,
Epiphany.
yeah, one of those too, about possibly us being up there.
It would be.
In the
That'd be
plane,
great.
Chuck? In the plane?
Not in the plane.
Oh.
Not in the plane.
Not yet.
Let's
Well, you're gonna
Next
jump
time,
with us,
next
right?
time.
let's
I
make
am
that
walking
perfectly
back.
clear. On the ground,
Chuck and I are gonna
in
jump.
a tent.
Oh, okay.
In a tent. I'll do one of those virtual jumps from one of the things
That
inside the
doesn't sound
tent.
as exciting, guys. I don't know.
But I take my hat off to you guys for doing what you do. But what would you have to do to reserve a spot for it?
They give us access to the whole area, so
You just tell us you want to.
just tell us you want to be there, and we'll find a spot
we'll
for
make
you.
it happen.
Yeah.
Put your head in there, and you can be there.
That's something I think we should talk
Yeah,
about.
and definitely, because I would love to interview some of the veterans after they jump and find out like how that feels to jump out of the
The
plane.
adrenaline.
And yeah, I mean, that's amazing.
And another thing that happens when we have these events is, we're doing this to raise money for these charities, but we found that we also have people that come out that really need the information, and we connect the two together. And when something like that happens, we're actually making a difference, makes the hair on your neck raise up. I mean, it's powerful.
Yeah, I mean the once again the adrenaline. I mean, it's got to be. Just describe to the viewers and us what's the first. I mean, just as you're about ready to jump, the feeling.
Well, I'm glad I wore my brown pants
Yep.
probably first, but no, it is the adrenaline
Yeah.
just coursing through your body, and it's just unnatural for a door to open up at 14,000 feet in aircraft. But once you leave that aircraft, it's maybe 3 seconds of feel like you're falling, and then it's a ride. It's
Yeah.
about a 60-second ride. 60-second ride. And then it's about a 4 or 5 minute canopy ride down after you deploy the parachute. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Great fun, and it's
The
beautiful.
view.
View.
Yeah.
And
I like the
Arlington's
floating
beautiful,
part better.
too.
I like
a lot
the
of
deployed
farmland.
sheet
Oh,
part.
yeah.
We're
Yeah.
just floating. When you're up there floating and there's nothing else,
Now you guys use the canopies versus a regular parachute. I mean, the canopies.
Yeah, you get the steering.
Yeah.
So if you're tandem jumping,
Yeah.
there'll be 2 controls, one for the expert and one for the person that's just going along for the ride, to have their own controls to fly it down,
It's pretty exciting.
which is something most people don't get to do.
I mean, I did something. I'm not going to say similar, but what do they call it? When you go up.
Parasailing?
There you go. Not 14,000 feet. It was more like 14
Exactly like
feet.
that, yeah, but
But I remember when we were landing on the platform, you're pulling, you were actually directing yourself down. And I think that's probably the closest I'm going to get to that.
maybe
but-
you, Chuck.
We have a lot of people who say, "Oh, I'm terrified of heights," and we coax them along the way, and they take the plunge because of how important this work is.
Yeah.
And they invariably say when they reach terra firma, "That was awesome. I want to go again."
Yeah, exactly.
That's
And
excellent.
there's actually a great YouTube video. Actor Will Smith talks about his first skydive experience. It's quite humorous. I recommend people check that out. But the bottom line is he talks about meeting with his buddies, and they're all partying, and somebody says, let's go skydiving tomorrow. He spends the night in sheer terror of, did I really commit to this? And
Yeah.
next day, he thinks they're going to chicken out, but they don't, and he's riding in the airplane, and he says there's 3 lights, a red one, a yellow one, and a green one. And right now it's red, and he knows at some point it's going to go yellow, and then it's going to go green. And he said when it goes green, somebody opens the door, and he said, I realized that was the first time I was ever in an aircraft with the door open.
Wow.
And the instructor gets him up to the door, and he says, we're going to go on 3, but the instructor gives him a push on 2 because on 3 everybody grabs.
Yeah. Exactly.
And he
Thanks
said,
for that warning, by the way.
He said in that moment, he's looking at death.
Yeah.
And once he stabilizes and is in free fall, he realizes that he's flying, and it's pure bliss. On the other side of fear is bliss.
Just to make light of this, you were talking about the color coding. Shouldn't that green be replaced with the brown?
Well, we do get different color shirts every year, so
I jump in pink.
he actually does jump in
Way to
pink.
go.
You can definitely see him coming down.
Sounds like a great cause,
Yeah.
Chuck.
Well, I'm really.
And we have videographers, Monique, that can film you coming down.
I don't know what that looks like. But it's such an excellent cause. I wouldn't really care what I look like, to be honest with you, because I think it sounds like a great thing. So do you have so many people that you can fit in one day? Like, do you have a limit? Because there's only so many hours of, you just do it in the daylight, right?
Yeah. So, and again, it's all dependent upon weather conditions. So, on a perfect day, we can do about 80.
Wow, that's a lot.
Wow. Now, to get off track here a little bit, I mean, we're talking about the fear and all that. Is there any, I'm thinking of PTSD, veterans. Have they gone up with you to try to overcome some of their fears?
Yeah, I can answer that. I think it was the second year we had a gentleman who kept contacting us. He really wanted to jump. He was a 22-year veteran with multiple tours, combat, and financially he couldn't afford it. So we discussed it among the board members and said, look, we're gonna give this guy his jump, and we got the funds together to make that happen for him. And he was over the top. We also had it filmed for his grandkids and his family, and yeah. So to answer your question, yeah, we think it's a great way to
Therapy.
yeah, help these veterans get out of that box of PTSD.
Yeah, it came up in my mind because we do have a lot of shows here on PTSD. We've had some doctors on, and it's just obviously because it's such an important topic. And I thought maybe this was used in some way, could be used as therapy to overcome certain areas of PTSD.
We've had so many out-of-the-box ideas like the horses and tapping therapy, meditation. So skydiving is a little bit different than that, but I could totally see how
Yeah.
that would be therapeutic as well. So it's great.
Did we get to the
We didn't talk about donations. How can we donate? What if someone's watching and they'd like to donate? So how can they donate?
Our website, skydiveforveterans.org, has a donate button. You just click on that, and you can go through and pay with a PayPal or credit card right there. For people who would like to join us and jump with us, there's a register button. You just fill that out, and we'll send you all the forms and information that you
That's
need.
great. That's excellent.
Now, we're talking about donations and all that. Do you have fundraisers that go on during the course of the year?
We do. We have a poker run, which was just in June, which
Motorcycle.
was fantastic. It was a poker run motorcycles from. We were going from VFWs to Elks Clubs, primarily, up and down the shoreline. We had 60 riders, I think, this year.
Wow.
And it was great. Beautiful day. We did bikini bartending over the winter, which was a blast.
And were you actually
No,
bartending that
they would not
day?
let me get into a bikini that day, no. I wanted to, but they wouldn't let me. Tim looked great, though.
Always.
Well, clearly you guys have a good time spending time together and doing great things together, which is fabulous.
It is amazing that we're a group of friends that we get together and we actually meet, I don't know,
Once a month.
during the
once every
season,
other week.
it's once a week, once every 2 weeks or something like that. We all get together and have board meetings and go over, what more we can do and how's everything going and make sure that we're organized and we've got everything set for our events and what other events we could possibly come up with.
You have to always be thinking ahead, things aren't cheap. What does it cost for, you were talking about getting the money up for that one veteran. What does it cost to do this?
We ask people to raise $500 and they jump for free.
Yeah.
And we have forms that we send to people and we tell people that, if you took this form and brought it into your office and told people, to donate a couple of bucks here and there to throw me out of a plane, you wouldn't imagine that. We had one person that raised over $1,000 in a day.
Well liked in the office.
Oh, yeah. People really like
I
them.
think I could raise that kind of funds for you, Jack.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
And there's also companies that,
Just in the control room.
Just a matter of minutes, I would imagine.
It adds up quick, our sponsor sheet, you can have friends, family sponsor you $5, $10, and you'd be surprised in short order it adds up quickly.
It's
there's
certainly.
also companies out there that match donations. So if you got $250, they would give you the other $250 to get you to the $500 as long as you know.
Now, when someone makes a donation, where do the funds actually go? As far as
We're donating right now to House of Heroes,
Okay.
Connecticut
We've had-
chapter,
we've had
and
them.
Work Vessels for Veterans are two charities that we're donating to. So we don't keep any of the money, we give it all
Yeah.
to them. So 50-50 split between them as best we can. And I think they're they're 99% charity too. So
House of Heroes was my very first show here.
Oh, really?
Very first show over in the corner over there, here in Studio A. There was a little platform over there, and that was the very first show.
nice.
It was with Bill May.
Program.
Yeah.
God rest his soul.
Carol actually jumped with us last year and
Yeah.
is jumping again this year.
Really?
Yep.
Yes.
And her daughter, Kelly.
Yeah.
And this year the other daughter's jumping, Caitlin, in honor of Bill.
That was another man that did so much
Oh, yeah.
for the veteran community. And I was honored to have him not only on the show, but the very first show. That kind of broke me into, hosting these.
Well, House of Heroes is now national, so
right.
they're expanding to all 50 states. Work Vessels for Veterans also is all 50 states.
I've heard of that one before.
Jeff
So-
on the show.
Yeah, you should.
Oh, great group of
They're
people.
great. They're good. They do a lot of good.
What I'll do is I will get the contact information from you guys. Dennis Buden, he's been on the show many times. Who kind of, I guess he's high up. I don't know if did he take over for?
Yeah, he's VP.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's really helping us get the word out this year as well. House of Heroes, their motto is make a difference in a day. They go in and do repairs to veterans' homes or veterans' widows' homes, windows, doors, decks. If they need wheelchair access, they do all that kind of stuff. It's like a miracle makeover in a day.
They've made a massive difference. I know just from the first show that I learned about them, and then with Dennis being on, a couple times. That's why this show is here.
Right.
The mission of this show, we're all volunteers, is to get the word out, to give exposure, for you guys. We do this through Facebook, with our page, and obviously the show. And believe it or not, this show, we've taped. There's over 100 shows. You came on at 100 shows as a co-host. about 115 now.
I guess it just flies by. You
Yeah.
have such interesting guests, and you know.
We have people following the Facebook page from around
all over the country.
All over the country.
Yes.
That's great.
So I mean, this show, and that's why we do this, because it makes a difference. And if you know, we always have our guests that have been on. We have them come back, give us updates, and obviously we want you guys to come back down in the future too. To let us know, for the next event.
We should have do something after post jump if you guys are going to be there and you're going to jump with us, right?
I am tentatively agreeing to this, Chuck.
Sign the waiver.
I think that it's a very good cause, and I feel like I would need that push on maybe number one, because I'm very good at bracing myself. Look at him, he's thinking about it, Chuck.
Yeah,
he's thinking about it. Yeah.
I'm
Don't worry.
thinking
Is it
about who
September
am I going to
9th?
replace her with on the
7th.
show.
September 7th.
Saturday, September 7th.
This is a very safe event, September 7th.
It is.
It is.
Of course it is. I'm somebody who just, I mean, I haven't flown since, I won't even tell you. I think it was the late 80s. I mean, I just got a thing about flying. Never mind jumping out. So I joke around a lot here, but I've got the utmost respect and admiration for you guys and what you do. It's certainly something that I could never do. So I was joking around a little bit.
See, he's looking at me. I'm thinking about it, Chuck. You know, I only have to be dared a little bit, Chuck.
Yeah. Let's see. We're down to 3 minutes. We're going to be given our announcements for upcoming events for the veterans. Now, real fast, how much money have you raised for veterans charities over the last 4 years?
Well, this is our 4th year, so over the last 3, we've raised about $40,000.
$40,000.
Yeah, so this year's looking to be one of our best years, so because we expand every year a little bit, so we're looking pretty good for this year so far. But
Whenever you have an event that goes on, email it to me.
absolutely.
We'll put it on the page. Monique has access to the page, the Facebook page. The Veterans Corner, it's the Veterans Corner CT. Veterans Corner CT, because there are Veterans Corners throughout the country. So.
And our veterans share our page too, so you never know.
Yeah, we send it all over,
Yeah.
and the more it gets out there, the more
Right.
people are sharing it.
Great.
Let's jump into. Do you have the announcement?
I do. So we have a couple announcements we're going to go because in support of veterans. So we have the Forever in My Heart 3rd Annual Charity Gala. It's September 28th, 2019 at Foxwoods Resort and Casino. The entrance is, you can go online and check that out and get tickets, forevermyheartfoundation.org. Heidi Voigt is going to be the host. She's lovely. And they're going to have a band, Gypsy Dream Orchestra. But it's an awesome event. And of course, you remember that Forever in My Heart is the foundation that provides service dogs for veterans. Awesome.
Yep. Great group. That's
They
another
are.
group that's been on here a
Excellent.
number of
Yes.
times. Next thing is Friday, September 20th, 2019, is the stand down up at Rocky Hill campus, the Connecticut Department of Veterans Affairs. It's at 287 West Street in Rocky Hill. Services, they cover all kinds of services. Please stop by and see that from 8 to 2. And our last thing is Warrior Wellness Trail Ride. It's for Healing Hoofbeats of Connecticut, and they do amazing things, therapeutic riding. Renee up there, they were just here on the show. That is September 22nd, 2019, from 12 to 5. You don't have to ride, but you can go up there. There's games, there's raffles, there's food, and more to support them. And that's at 94 Isaiah Smith Road. I just lost that on my, so I'm Isaiah Smith Road up in Morris. So with that being said, I guess thank you. Thank you very much
Thank
for
you
being
for having
here.
us.
Thank you for having us and all that you guys do.
It was great to have you, very informative. Once again, that's all the time we have. We want to thank the guests for watching. I'm Chuck Wooden.
And I'm Monique Melanson Hunter.
Good night, and we'll see you next time on the Veterans Corner.